extension of statutory times. And in your packet was a letter, a note from Michelle saying that it was okay to extend.
Okay.
But this is just to formally extend. Normally, we would have to open the public hearing by May 13th. So we probably will not be. The governor extended by 90 days. The 90 days can be used any way the town and or the applicant would like it to be allocated.
Any questions from anybody about that?
Tom Courier is with us.
Hello, Tom.
There you go.
There he is.
And there's also Melissa Harris.
Yes.
So Tom is a member of the commission. Hey, Tom.
How you doing?
We just got started. So all of the members' connections will be unmuted so that you can be heard if you speak. Any members of the public as you join, it'll be at the appropriate time. If you'd like to speak to something, Paula Stahl will recognize and unmute you. I'll recognize you and she will unmute you. So probably the best way to handle that, if you want to speak at some point, just raise your hand and I'll be able to see who that is. Okay,
Sorry,
that's fine. It worked out just fine. So with that being said,
I was just gonna, Anne, I can't see you if you're gonna raise your hand. So if you could, you can do a chat, hit the chat button on the bottom, and when we get to audience of citizens at the bottom again, if there's something you wanted to say, just send me a little note that you have something to say, and I'll unmute you for that.
okay.
Okay.
Any questions? Okay. With that said, so we had the application, the move. I'll make a motion. Any reason to discuss this any more about the extension?
No.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to extend the statutory time to open the public hearing on Michelle Martineau's home occupation application to no later than August 11th, 2020, per the governor's executive order 7-1,
7-I.
section 7-I, section 19. Do I have a second?
I'll second that, as you stated.
Yep. That was seconded by Rich Napolitano. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye. We'll do a roll call.
Aye.
Aye for me.
Aye.
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 That's unanimous. Thank you. Next up is new business, item 7. It's the Belfry Farm LLC, 86 Hennequin Road site plan modification for off-site drainage mitigation. With that,
This is an application that has been, it has been an enforcement issue for a long time, and it has about a year ago, the town, the applicants, and an abutting neighbor came into a verbal agreement, and just recently they came into a written agreement just a little while ago. So they signed the agreements on March 11th, and the very next day the application was submitted for this. Most of you, I think, know the history of the farm and the enforcement side of it. And you've got the packet. I don't know if you want me to walk you through it or talk about it, or
would it for the public like us to go through this in more detail, because we've heard about this as commission members, and it's in our minutes, and we have had items. This had to do with some drainage modifications that one neighbor did that caused drainage to possibly flow onto another drainage, a neighbor's property, and a subsequent agreement to correct this to the satisfaction of both parties. And it's, if you'd like any more detail than that, I'd be happy to open it up to that. If not, why don't we, so I see two members of the public. Any questions from either of you? I have one. It says Paul's iPad.
It's not a public, Rick, there's no public comment on this other than from
Okay.
from Mrs. Harris.
Oh, that's true. And I was just hoping if there were any questions that we could entertain them, but we can't apparently, can we?
Let me pull up a, everybody see the
Yes.
plan?
Yeah.
This is the site plan of Belfry Farm. It was established, the first application was approved in 2001, excuse me. On the right-hand side is Route 66. At the top of the screen is Hennequin. This is the driveway that goes up to Hennequin. Down at the bottom of the screen is a lot of wetlands through here. And you can see the topography lines through here. Let me increase this size. You can see
Bless you.
you can see the topography through here. This is showing drainage always goes perpendicular to the topography. So the natural drainage of this site before, this was a farm field, I believe, or woods. All this swampy area here drains straight across this way.
Yeah.
And down to the basically to the corner. The applicant used an engineering firm for drainage at the time in 2002. They came back looking for a slight change to orientation. They came back to the PZC for that. This is traditionally a wet site, but you don't want your paddocks to be wet. So Mrs. Hamilton hired, it's down here, Buck and Buck, to do a remediation plan that included putting drainage, surface drainage, I believe it is, along this side. So it's collecting water that put it down to here. There's a natural swale here, so it was directing the water that way. And that helped a great deal, apparently, for the paddocks. But then there was still some water down in here. So in 2011, installed a drain pipe here. So it's piped further out this way so that it's actually moving a little bit more water directly out. These are notes. This is an annotated plan that Connie Kislik and I changed the word installed to existing because this was proposed at the time, not submitted to the town. None of this drainage on this side was ever submitted to the town. And Mrs. Sanford lives over here, and the drainage has been going into her basement. Her basement has been flooding some with this. She started noticing that and had complaints March of 2011. This is the first notice that I have that came through here. And Mr. Lesage, who owned this property at the time, which was vacant land, he was complaining as well. So both of these neighbors have been complaining. So what has happened, our zoning enforcement officer has been working with Mrs. Hamilton's attorney for a while. One of the, I think it was probably 3 years ago or so, we had the town engineer take a look at it to see what his recommendation would be. And they were talking about putting under drains here to catch the water that's coming here and then divert it down, down towards, down the driveway to 66 instead of going into Mrs. Sanford's basement. So that's the agreement that has been reached, and the agreement includes Belfry Farm paying for the work to be done. The town attorney has a check in escrow for that.
Okay. And do we have any type of statement from the engineering firm that came up with the solution
Yes,
that it categorically will mitigate or eliminate the issue?
I've not seen an engineer do that
Okay.
categorically, but
Well,
it's something that,
A very definitive statements from the engineers about how successful their work will be. I find
Um,
that very, very important.
this is
We want them
the,
on record to be on the hook in case this
Right.
doesn't solve the issue.
well, this is the, if you can, on the screen now as part of your packet, it's the Jacobson, Milt Jacobson and Associates. Their opinion was to the installation of an under drain. And then, excuse me here, going down. Nope. It's not, I thought it was in this group here. The agreement, it's in another packet. The agreement signed by Mrs. Sanford and Mrs. Hamilton for Belfry Farm. It is at that point, it would be a civil matter.
I'd just like to get this on record. Milt Jacobson is the town's hired engineering firm. Will we reimbursed by the applicant?
No,
So we encountered engineering costs with our engineering company.
yes, we did.
Do you know what that was approximately?
No, I do not. I do not. We also incurred quite a bit of attorney fees. And no, I don't have that number. We're
Okay.
anxious to get this resolved.
Well, I understand, and there's some degree of flexibility about that, but what I'd really hope is that the applicant would have borne the cost of their actions. Really would have hoped that. Both the engineering costs, the engineering review costs, and I don't know what our legal ability is to compel that. And it's at this point, they want us to approve it. I would have loved to have known all of that. I mean,
Perhaps Attorney Harris has that information. Would want to chime in.
Unmute myself.
we can hear you now.
Oh, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Like what was already said, this has been going on for quite a long time. And there's been a lot of attempts at a resolution. And part of that also included, us having our own experts involved. And of course, we bore the cost of that. So it's
But
really...
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
So, this is this solution that the town has proposed that we're agreeing with, because I think partly because it's a third party that's come in and said to both the parties, this is the solution, instead of our engineers or Mrs. Sanford's engineers saying this is what needs to be done. So we've already borne quite a bit of costs with regard to this issue. I don't know if you got, I did include Mr. Jacobson's letter as part of the application. So it should be in your packet. I do have it up on my screen if you want me to share that, if you want to review it.
I shared that a moment ago.
I didn't see it.
I didn't see the letter. I don't know if that was in our packet, was it, Paula?
Yes, it was.
Okay, because I printed out the packet and okay.
It's the one from Stanger and Stanfield, right?
It's Jacobson.
Stanger Stanfield, Ms. Harris, that's your firm, correct?
Yes, correct. So the letter that I provided to the commission had the application attached and a couple different exhibits.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, my computer's not helping me right now.
Yeah, I didn't see, you know, I want to be very transparent about the reason for my questions and the nature of the questions. I always like getting a professional with a stake in this on the record, confirming that we have a solution. And I want there to be some path of, for the person who is aggrieved here, to a path for them to pursue with the professional if this solution is not successful. Because here we had Buck and Buck originally, they came up with this engineering and they're professionals and they created the problem with their engineering. So that being said, I only trust engineering solutions in the sense that they're ultimately successful. And we've seen too often in the past that engineering solutions that are proposed by civil engineers are unsuccessful. And so I always like to get on the record that the engineering company says categorically that this is a solution to the problem, so that we have some path after our action as a commission, when we're powerless to intervene, that this, once we've accepted a solution, that isn't sufficient from my perspective to cover and protect the public. It just has borne out over and over. We have solutions that are proposed, they're implemented, and they fail.
Ms. Harris, do you have the agreement between Mrs. Hamilton and Mrs. Sanford? You can describe the what the agreements were.
yeah, I think that's in your packet. Let me see.
I didn't see it in my packet unless it was a separate email from the email dated April 23rd, 2020, sent at noon. I don't see anything about the engineering solution in there.
Would you like me to share my screen? Because, well, I think you're trying, but it's not coming up correctly.
Right.
I can do that if you'd like. Let me see. Bear with me.
I don't know how to make it so that you can share. Advanced sharing offer.
Am I sharing?
You're sharing now.
Sharing, yes. Okay.
All right, great.
I haven't seen this one previously.
No, I haven't seen it.
No.
Is it large enough for you to read, or do you want me
Yep.
to read it out?
Yes,
Okay.
give me a moment and I'm going to read this.
Let her know when you're ready for page 2.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Well, I knew it wasn't done.
I'm ready. If
I'm
anyone,
Ready?
Okay, I'm scrolling down now.
thank you. Okay, we've had, I have every confidence in Jacobson's work. The question is, are they on the hook if this doesn't mitigate it sufficiently? And this is a letter from 2018. Has any of this work been done at this point?
No.
Okay, so
Melissa, can you show the agreement between the two parties?
Don't go, not yet done.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Can you just hold on that screen for a moment?
Sure.
I've read it, I just want to understand it.
Is that Judith or is that Larry talking?
that was Tom, I think.
That was Tom. Do I sound like Judy?
No, we got a Judy on here though.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Larry.
Larry.
You didn't know that about me, did you? Huh? That's my real name. No, it's my wife. It's her computer. So that's somehow it decided that that was my name.
Oh, the last sentence, not to, on 5, it's important that this swale does not get filled or regraded in the future. How do we ensure that?
Well, that would become a zoning compliance issue
Okay.
with a modified site plan that gets altered counter to what the approved site plan is. Is that correct, Paula?
That's correct, and it's, the swale is on the neighbor's property. It's not on Mrs. Sanford's. It's the former Lesage property.
So unfortunately, we have a civil issue that fortunately the town got it involved in to just trying to protect a member of the community. And now it's on, there would probably be civil path for the neighbor to address this if there was, but probably not necessary because the neighbor, Sanford, could come to the town and say, look, there's a zoning violation because there was this approved site plan and it's been modified or it hasn't been maintained. I don't want to overstate my expertise in the enforcement area, but
I believe the swale, the nature of it, this is I asked John Valenti, our wetlands agent, a while ago about this, and my recollection is that he was saying that even because it's a swale with intermittent water on it, he would be involved if that swale was filled in.
Okay.
So
I have a question. Is there this is just a grassy swale, and my experience has been grassy swales, there's a lot of water just erode rather quickly. There's no intention here to put any kind of gravel in this swale, or?
I think there's gravel at the base of it. It does not hold water. It moves it down to a catch basin that's on Route 66. We ready to move to the agreement between the two parties?
I am. Is everyone all set to take a look at that?
Yeah, I'm all set.
Thank you.
Do you have that, Melissa?
Yeah.
Okay.
Moment.
All right. Here we go.
You see it?
Yep.
Okay.
This is an unsigned version. I do have the signed version.
Is it?
Okay.
I think it's signed. Yep, it's fully executed.
Okay, there's no date at the top. That's why I thought it wasn't signed.
Okay, yep.
Melissa, can you scroll up a little bit so I can see the bottom of that page?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm ready for the next page whenever everyone else is.
I'm ready.
Thank you for this. I appreciate this.
Yeah, all set.
Can you scroll up again, please? Just a little bit.
Stop right. Rick, I guess Linda, it says Linda Sandwich shall be responsible for all future maintenance, repairs, and upkeep.
Made to the Sanford property, not to the Hamilton property.
Okay,
And not to the swale that's on the neighbor's property.
okay.
So are there any modifications being made to the Sanford property?
Yes, that's where the under drains are going.
Oh, the under drains are going there.
Yeah.
All right. And I assume that she's comfortable with this. Is Ms. Sanford one of the members of the audience?
No,
Okay. And there was another member in the audience. Was that Ms. Hamilton?
no.
No, Miss Hamilton's not here.
Okay. Okay, I'm all set with this. How's everyone else doing
I'm all done.
with this
I'm
page?
good.
All good.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Second paragraph is interesting, just.
Standard legal language.
Yes.
I'm okay with this page.
Yeah, me too.
I just need the bottom.
Yeah, that's the
All
end,
signatures.
the signatures that follow.
Then the
Okay.
next page is the rest of the signatures.
Yeah,
Yeah.
got it.
And then we have the letter from Jacobson attached as the exhibit.
Okay.
This was the original proposal that was done. There's been a subsequent proposal for the work to be completed that was a little bit higher. Hence, the check is worth a little bit more. And this was the general release that has already been executed by Ms. Sanford and is being held in escrow pending, the completion of the work.
So can we go back to my original question? What if this doesn't work? Who's responsible? Our engineering firm? The contractor? What if the problem doesn't go away?
That's where all the fancy words come from. And they start pointing fingers.
Yeah,
Well, that's my real concern here. I would like for Ms. Sanford to have a clear path to a resolution, not a document. And, we want to make sure that the problem goes away for her, at least to the extent that it did not exist prior to the development of this parcel. And I'm a little bit unsettled that we don't have definitive language that leaves that path of redress open.
Assumedly, Ms. Sanford has had, and I say assumedly because I do not know, but assumedly Ms. Sanford has had her own engineers look at the plan before agreeing to the same and providing, you know, a general release potentially to us once the work is completed.
That's a valid point, and I understand that. Again,
She
I
has.
just-
I don't know for a fact, but I know she had talked to me about the fact that she was going to have a firm take a look at it. But I did not get a definitive yes or no from her. But knowing her at this point, I don't think she would have signed it without being very comfortable. And I don't think she'd be comfortable without having her own engineer look at it.
I wish
Right.
we had a sort of statement from her or one of her representatives about her comfort with the whole process. And, you know, that would have helped a lot. Like I said, I've found lots of engineering proposals to be flawed in concept and certainly in implementation over the years.
I think her signature on this agreement, she would not be signing this if she were not comfortable.
Yeah, and it says that she had competent legal counsel, and I assume the legal counsel would have pointed all this out to her. But like I said, if this doesn't work, is she nowhere?
That I personally am confident with our situation, but I cannot speak to where does that potentially leave the town.
And I love having the engineers who proposed it being on the hook based on them testifying at our meetings about the competency of their engineering work. I always press them into a corner to say, is this a solution? Will this fix this? Things like that, because I want them on the record defending their work in case there's a problem down the road. So to that extent, I'm very unsettled by the way this is occurring right now. Doesn't mean I don't think we'll just sign off on it as a group. I don't want to speak for everyone else, but I'd be much happier if we could have queried the engineering firm that did the work. And because like I said, we had an engineering firm that messed this up royally the first time around.
Well, we didn't. We did not have an engineering firm. Mrs.
So
Hamilton had a firm.
She had work done that was unauthorized, and it caused the problem.
Right. She had a firm who worked very hard at making sure her paddocks were dry.
With no regard to everybody else.
Right.
I mean, we're not all 100% in agreement with regard to the facts that have been transpiring since, you know, the drainage was put in back in '09. It is our belief, and like I said, not everyone agrees with us, that, you know, the Sage did some work on his property that may have made the situation worse. But, you know, at this point, that's neither here nor there. We really have to move forward to finding a solution. And as of right now, I think all the parties agree that this is the solution.
Okay. All right. Let's, before we vote on it, I'll have the commission discuss their perspectives on everything. And I appreciate all the information you presented, Ms. Harris.
No, no problem.
Pardon?
I
Thank
said,
you.
no problem. And thank you for having me into your homes in this fashion.
Hey, we got visitors for a change.
It is nice to see other
right.
faces than my family.
I will say to our professional staff, Paula and Flo, this is working out rather well, quite frankly. You know, we're able to see what we need to see. We're able to hear from who we need to hear from. So Paula, Flo, I'm very pleased with this. What's everyone's perspective? I think we're not going to get a professional in here to sign off on this verbally the way I love to do it. So I would suggest we accept this solution.
Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with it, Rick.
Okay, everybody?
Yeah, as much as, with the limitations that we have, I'm very, I'm pretty comfortable with it.
Okay.
You know, there's a lot of factors that go into it too. You know, the contractor that does the work. Is it the engineer's fault? You know,
That's right.
things
That's right.
things change in the earth too. You know, flows do have a tendency to change, and it appears to me that there's a good faith effort on all the parties to agree.
Yeah,
And if we don't do anything, it just remains the same.
yeah.
Agreed. And there is a clause in the agreement between the parties stating that Mrs. Sanford or Ms. Sanford, secured legal advice, and I'll have to rely on that legal advice as she's
Right.
to guide her to be in a position that's appropriate long-term from a legal standpoint on.
Yeah, that was my concern, that we get put on the hook with that sentence and that in the document, she's kind of taking responsibility for it.
So Ms. Harris, I assume you inserted that clause in the agreement. Nice job.
Of course. Thank you.
Good job, Liz.
Then I'm going to make a motion. Is everyone comfortable with that?
Yes.
Sure.
I'll make and I'm doing it because I have the written motion in front of me. I'll make a motion to approve site plan modification for off-site drainage mitigation at Belfree Farm LLC, 86 Hennequin Road, per the application submitted. And a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
What's that?
No discussion. All those in favor? I'm in favor, one at a time.
Aye.
I'm in
All right.
favor.
Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you. We're all set with this. Thank you
Great.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much. Stay safe.
Thanks, Melissa.
Too.
All right, how do I get out of here?
I don't know, but I'm going to mute you.
Okay, next up on our agenda is item 7.2, the Corso subdivision, an extension request for filing of final plans. That's pretty standard. Do we need to even discuss that, Paula? I'll just make the motion.
No, you don't. And they may be able to submit the plans in a timely fashion. They're just, Joe Boucher from Town Engineering is ultra conservative and does not want to have any chance of not being able to get into the town clerk's office.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to grant a 90-day extension to file the Corso or subdivision Mylars on the town's land records in accordance with section 4.13 of the Columbia subdivision regulations. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay.
Who is that?
Larry.
Tom, I think you were a half a second ahead of Larry.
Okay.
Hey, I found a little button here to raise your hand.
You don't
Yep.
need to do that.
Does that work? I don't know.
I got a chat button, but I don't have a
It's
raise
on,
my hand.
on the left side where the participants are, there's a
And I
raised
can,
hand and lower hand.
as the host, I can lower your hand.
Yeah.
Oh,
I made the
You're down.
motion, seconded it. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
I,
aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's unanimous. Thank you. Okay, next up are regulation revisions, which we won't do. Paula,
thank you.
No, there's nothing to do.
no communications and reports to go over. Anything anyone else wants to bring up? Open discussion?
I think
Believe
we
it or not, I miss everybody.
I think we ought to do this all the time.
Ann, are you there? We miss you.
I'm gonna unmute her. Ann, you're unmuted.
Hi,
Hi, Ann, we missed you.
well, thank you. That's why I tuned in. I missed
You know,
it.
we're always on our best behavior because we know you are listening.
I know. I'm the watchdog.
Okay.
But, and I want to thank you all for the good work that you do.
Well, thank you. We have a great support in town hall. It makes it much easier to get everything done.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, Paula.
Hi, Ann.
Is there any audience of citizens, anything to bring up? That would be you, Ann.
That's what she did.
Okay. Then I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Hey. Second.
I'll second it.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
That would be unanimous. Thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you.
All right, till next time.
Thanks, guys. Good seeing you.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody. Thank you. Thanks. Paula, thanks. Flo, thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Good evening.
Thanks, Flo. Thanks, Paula.
You're welcome.
See you soon.
Yes, hopefully.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, that went pretty good.
Except even though I wrote a big note that said record,